We're live, George.
Cool. Cheers for that. Right. Evening, everyone. That was a complete. That's just live watching everyone see how a blind person does it. I think Mel's asleep, so we're gonna go with it. But happy Friday, everyone. Hope we're all doing well. Let me just introduce you to my guests. We have Dan. How are you, mate?
Yeah, all good. Thanks, mate. All good. Good to be back.
That was like the good old days, that wasn't it? No.
I know it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Got the band back. Tuned the band back up.
Nice and smooth intro. It was all. It was.
Yeah. James, how you doing?
I'm all good. How's yourself?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you. Yeah, not too bad actually. Paul, how are you, mate?
Yeah, all good, all good. Just recovering from a couple of busy days at work.
Sorry, I was just reading the message on the chat. So we might be joined by Mel, and we might be joined by Jack. So we'll play that by ear. Obviously, we're going to go into talking about the FA Cup game. We've got Liverpool on Sunday. Start with you, James. Yeah, we are playing Liverpool this weekend, just so you know. I saw today that Kafaji and Palova played for the under-21. So, do you think we could see any of them feature on Sunday?
I'm not entirely sure. I think, if I'm being personally honest, I think it's going to be a kind of more tried and tested than anything sort of lineup. I would like to see the likes of Palova come on, but I still think she's maybe a wee bit off coming back to the first team. Maybe that's how she'd possibly get the games for the under 21s. Kafaji, I'll be completely honest at this point, I really don't know why they'd even signed that lassie. To be fair, I think it's kind of horrible for her. If anything, she might get a game, but something tells me it's going to be another no-show. But I think lineup-wise, other than possibly the swap maybe Mane for DVD, I really don't see any other changes getting made.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. Just also, hi, Craig. Hope you're doing well, mate. Laura, hope you're good. And Dorian and Darren and everyone else. Yeah, Dan, obviously, we're looking at maybe a bit more rotation potentially. I think, but like James said, though, is like we are playing Liverpool, so you don't want to make loads and loads of changes, do you? Could you see someone like Beth maybe starting? Because it looks like her hand injury is not as bad as we first feared.
I'm not sure, really. I mean, I think, obviously we've got to go as strong as possible, really, and then if we hopefully get in a good position, and then we'll start making a few changes. But yeah, probably start with Caitlin. Chloe Kelly played well enough on Sunday that I think she deserves another start with Russo. I mean, go as strong as possible. I think if there's going to be any changes, it would probably just be in the centre midfield with Cara coming in for Kim. But yeah, apart from that, even goalkeeper wise, I still think probably say just stick with DVD. I think Liverpool can be a tricky opponent, and we don't want to take anything for granted like we did on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I agree. And Josh, hello to you as well in the chat. Hope you're doing well, mate. I know Josh has said he thinks we'll cruise through the game. I don't know. Paul, I don't know if we'll cruise through it. I think if we put a good performance in play to what we know we can play at those levels, then we probably should be advancing, shouldn't we?
Yeah, we should be. I mean, we can get the result. We know we can get the result, but we thought we were going to do better than we did on Sunday against West Ham. I think we took them a little bit for granted. So I'd like to see a really strong lineup from the start. We obviously Chloe can't play against them because she's cup tied, but other than that, nobody really out with any major injuries. So yeah, make a strong lineup, get a couple of goals in, then you can change things up a little bit. I think the plan was probably to bring Vicky P on for a few minutes at the end last Sunday if we were in a better position than we were. So I'd like to see if we were like 3 or 4 up, give her sort of just 10 minutes at the end, just to give her a few minutes back out on the pitch for the first team.
Yeah, I agree. I think we're apparently Lena is not available either. I think she's been ill, according to Renee. So you're kind of really, James, spoilt, or not that spoilt for choice, are we? Obviously, no Chloe, no Lena, so it's probably going to be a Caitlin or a Beth starting. You would have thought, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, I think even if Lena was available, I don't think she would be a start. As you said yourself, Liverpool's one of those things for us. We batter them one game, and the next game it's a West Ham situation all over the back. So, with that being said, and with a shaky performance on Sunday, I think, as I say, it's going to be the strongest possible. We've not got much in the way. I say we've not got much. We have got players there in reserve, but I don't think we've got anybody that Renee would maybe trust as such. So I think you will go with at least the outfield as close to, as Paul says, get the strongest team on, a good couple of goals up. I don't think it'll be as high as 4 right enough, maybe 2 or 3, and then start bringing on, as Liverpool tire out, start bringing on the likes of Stina, possibly if Beth still carrying it, that wee sort of niggle, bring her on near the end and see the game out that way. But I'll be honest, I think getting into this, I'm hoping that the Arsenal won't go the same way they normally do and sort of the big occasion get the better of them, especially given this is the first time in a couple of years now that we've actually been at this stage of the FA Cup.
Yeah, no, I agree, James. To be fair, I did actually agree with bringing probably players on to try and stretch their defence because, like, at the end of the day, Beth hasn't been playing week in week out for what at least the last month, 6 weeks, has she? So, I know everyone knows I'm not the biggest fan of Stina, but if we were winning like 2 by a couple of goals, you suppose you could bring her on in a game like that instead of Beth.
Yeah, I mean,
we've got
we've
some
seen it against.
big games coming up, haven't we? So I think that's what we need to remember.
Yeah, that's it. But, I mean, we've seen it against West Ham. When we brought Cena on again, Caitlin Ford and Kyra came on as well, and it absolutely opened West Ham apart. I personally gave Kyra the Crossman player of the match. I thought she was amazing when she came on. But watching Stina's play, Stina, along with Russo at that point, did stretch that defence right out, allowing the midfield to break in further back. So I think it could work again. That being said, it could be something Liverpool's possibly picked up on and might have a plan B in place in case we do bring Stina on in terms of maybe going deeper at the back or more players at the back to try and block that out.
Yeah. We're gonna Paul. I'll come to you. Obviously against West Ham, we started with Kim and Leah Volti, didn't we? And I think if we're honest, the majority of the fan base knew that them together was not what we wanted to really be seeing. Do you put that down just to players having a bad start to the game, or do you think there's something more in that realistically going forward, whatever game we play in, it's either Volti or Kim with Kyra?
Yeah, I mean, let's be fair. I don't think there was a single player that had a great game on Sunday in that first half. But the few games that Kim and Leah have played in that role together, it just hasn't seemed to work this season. And I think we've got to the point that it needs to be either one or the other. With Kyra playing in there, she's done so well this season. She's sort of grown into that position. Every game, she just seems to get better and better in there. And I've said it a number of times. I can't see Kim as a starter anymore. I can see her as coming off the bench sort of the last 10, 15 minutes, but I really can't see that we can get sometimes even 70 minutes out of her as a starter and then take her off. So yeah, realistically it needs to be Leah Volti probably getting the nod over Kim at the moment with Kyra, and then Kim can come on towards the end. And I think possibly, maybe not so much in this game, but then next week we've got Everton on the Friday night, and then a big Champions League game midweek. I think it'll be the Everton game that she starts to make a few changes or brings the subs on a bit earlier, maybe if we've got a few goals up, rather than this week.
Yeah. Question for like any of you guys, really. Do you? I know we spoke about this before, but do you more see going forward Kyra as a number 8, or do you see her more way down the line, probably being, say, someone like the Kim Little or the Leah Volti kind of backup? And what I mean backup, I'm not saying that she isn't going to play. What I mean is, do you see her playing going forward as her career develops as a number 6, or do you always think she hasn't got enough defensive responsibility?
I would say I'd say that I think she's better in the 8 because she doesn't need that responsibility. I think she's more effective as a box-to-box player. I think if you maybe restrict her where she's got to play in the 6, maybe taking something a little bit away from her game. And I think if you want what you want her is her powering forward and being that sort of, I don't know, sort of Declan Rice sort of type player, I suppose, is sort of a bit of a comparison. But yeah, I think that's where she can affect the game more. So yeah, I think her and Leah Volti together is a good base for a central midfield, and it's especially I don't think she's quite got Leah's passing range, or short passing game maybe, but yeah, for me definitely as a number 8.
What about you, James?
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, watching Kyra's game, she seems a lot more happy being that sort of free flowing, getting to go box to box type. Defensively, she's solid enough. I think if we needed it, if there was a game where we need a solid defensive midfielder, I think Kyra could fill that slot. But as Dan's just said, I think that also takes a good bit away from her game. So I think predominantly it would be a number 8 for me.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting question, obviously, Paul, going forward, because obviously at the moment this conversation is not really that relatable, but obviously when Vicky Pelova becomes fit and playing regular again, and you've still got Volti, Kim, Pelova, Kyra there, you can't play all of it. Well, you could, but that'd be a very very blunt midfield. But where does that put Kyra? Because I would like to be seeing Kyra, Pelova in the same midfield, but then let's be honest, you can't really apart from, like we said the other day, they had a bad game, but you can't really be dropping Volti anywhere anytime soon, can you, either?
No, I think it's going to be a difficult one for Renee next season. I mean, I can't see Pelova being back properly till next season, and even then, it depends how the rehabilitation is going. Because we've seen with various players that have had that injury over the last couple of seasons, some have come back quite strong quite quickly, and then we've seen others that are still, even though they've been back for over a year on the pitch, they're still not back to where they were before the injury. So, that's something that we're not going to know until, another 6-8 months down the line, where she is and where she's going to fit back into that team.
Yeah. I will say, before we move on to about injuries, that I think all of our faults, and as Arsenal fans, are with Caitlin Marquise, because I think she came first game back from her ACL, and then she done it again.
Yeah, 10 minutes or something, wasn't it? Yeah, she was.
Yeah. So she's had
10
So
minutes, 10 minutes into a return from the injury, she's re-tore her ACL.
yeah, like
I think she was really popular around the club when she was there as well. She was really good with the fans, and I think she had a lot of time for the fans, and all the players seemed to think really highly of us. Obviously, a bit of a shame it didn't necessarily work out, but yeah, you wouldn't wish that on anybody with her. So it's hopefully she'll make a speedy recovery.
yeah. So yeah, obviously thoughts are with her, and hopefully she makes a speedy recovery. Because I'm under the impression, guys, like James, we're not seeing a midfield with Volti, Kyra, and Palova in, are we?
I think there's, for that to happen, you'd be looking at possibly one of them would need to drop back as a central defensive midfielder, and I don't think it really works for any of the three of them. On saying that, Walty, actually, was just kind of checking there. Walty is